Why do we have such a love-hate relationship with optimism? Is it because we see optimistic people as out of touch with reality, naive, unrealistic? Or is it the concern that optimism can be tied to toxic positivity culture? Whatever the reason, optimism has kind of gotten a bad rap as it's a crucial skill to cultivate, and along with hope, it creates the foundation for resilience. Without optimism, we'd struggle to find the motivation to tackle our most important goals, or find the courage to rebuild after the inevitable storms passed. The following quote from Noam Chomsky sums it up perfectly. Optimism is a strategy for a better future, because unless you can believe that the future can be better, you are unlikely to step up and take responsibility for making it so. What Mr. Chomsky is doing is he's taking optimism and places it firmly in the scope of necessary and needed skills for a thriving life. So you want to be an optimistic person? Here are 5 ways of going about doing that. 1. Avoid the doubters and stop watching the news. Self-doubt is easy enough to come by without having others pile it on. Misery loves company, which means if you are surrounding yourself with people who are unhappy with their lives and are choosing not to do anything about it, they're going to be the first people to downplay your happiness, success, and optimism. I implore you to have an inner circle of trusted friends, parents, a coach, or a therapist to run your most ambitious ideas by, but be sure not to share them publicly until you're 100% confident in it. Now, on to stop watching news. News thrives off of our incessant need to know about the next bad thing that's going to happen. Do you think that a brain wired to expect bad things is thriving? If you enjoy keeping up with current events, as I think it's valuable to do so, there are numerous positive news outlets that will keep you up with the times and let you know what's going on in the world. Number 2, have a long-term plan, but act daily. This will help you build confidence and optimism. Action conquers fear. The key to thinking optimistically is being able to pivot when things go awry. This is easier to do when you're focused on a daily task or even a minute-by-minute task rather than a huge event in the future. Think of a wedding plan and they find out that it's gonna rain the day of the wedding. If they were thinking about the wedding as a whole, it would hard to think optimistically about it because you think the whole day is ruined. But to think optimistically is to be able to roll the punches and just get a tent or move the venue to inside. We have to be able to roll the punches with an innate knowing that everything is gonna be all right. Number 3, be open to new experiences. You might be asking, Lauren, how can experiencing new things help me become more optimistic? Even something as small as taking a different route to work helps build tolerance to anxiety, which reduces fear, a prime enemy of optimism. If you're a natural pessimist, be open to the possibility that learned optimism can take away some of the hurt from expecting only bad. Number 4, assume the good intention of others. There's a quote that says, don't assume malice, assume ignorance. It's difficult to be optimistic about the world or even relationships if we assume negative intent in actions without proof. Most people's intentions are good, and those who aren't will show their intentions soon enough. And number 5, understand that being resilient and optimistic does not mean feeling good all of the time. It means that you're aware of the meanness and the cruelty and the sadness in the world, and you acknowledge that, but you are dedicated to a larger mission. Being optimistic means that even when you don't feel great about things, you'll eventually come out the other side with more awareness and more strength, which is something to be optimistic about.